Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Love Island All-Stars UK Season 2, Week 2, Chris. Now, where would you like to start today?
Well, I do want to apologise, David. We were trying to get our diaries together. I'd let the team down yesterday. I was getting so engrossed in Love Island, I just completely lost the time. And that's the excuse I'm using, Your Honour. But anyway, I think, Dave, I've got to say, and I'm going out there again, we're dealing with, and we said this last week because it's All Stars and they've been here before, they've got the T-shirt, they know what's expected. I think we're at the point where, and I've said it loads of times, it is literally like Towie now, isn't it? Like the DNA of the producers, which we call out when the normal show's on, is there, and people are a bit naive to like what's going to happen, the reaction outside. They might watch it, but I think sometimes they forget. But these bunch of narcissistical bellends are doing my fucking nutting, Dave. I've got to be honest. They are an absolute bunch.
Only now?
All of them. And I called out Lucas, said, what a guy. But I said he seems to be the only one who's all right. Well, that changed the second that came out of my mouth because he's another bellend, Dave. He's not changed. And he's not the only one, but the whole week, again, this second week, and we are covering Sunday's episode as well because there was a nice little kickoff there. So absolute knobheads, all these people. They're just unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, should we hone in on Luca then, who went through a partial redemption and then not? And you're right, it's kind of week 2 and a day, I guess. But yeah. I think Luca, it's been an interesting sort of week for him, hasn't it? I think in the first week, he was just a bit subdued. You know, the thing about this All-Stars thing, again, you've got some of them, you know, going back, like Scott and Tina from season 2. So you got people who were on it when it was a completely different show. And then you got a bunch of people who were just literally on it last year, you know, very, very recently. So it's a bit weird. But I just felt that Luca was more like in his head and being a bit subdued because he's like, oh, I know now. I've been on the show. I know how it comes across. If I'm my normal shitty self, you know, that they'll show it and I'll look bad and I can blame the edit and whatever. But so after, you know, he was a bit subdued and then Tina didn't pick him. Oh, she picked Scott. And then he's like having a little cry. And then he's, and I could see it in the messaging group that everyone was like, oh, I kind of feel sorry for Luca. But I didn't respond. But I'm like, well, I don't. It's like a fucking spoiled kid who didn't get the toy that he wanted and is feeling sorry for himself. That's honestly what I felt. I mean, when someone starts to get a bit emotional, it's impossible, or I find it impossible not to feel a bit of sympathy or empathy for them. But when I stood back, I just felt like he was just being a spoiled brat. And I feel like everything since then, he's shown that he is that massive shit stirrer. I think the thing with Scott and him that we got in literally the latest episode was, you know, still simmering through the whole week. And I think he just showed himself to be quite childish, really.
Yeah, and I remember the first series with Gemma Owen, and it was like, yeah, Luca Bish, yeah, he's a fishmonger. And then the first fucking thing we see him outside the villa, he's driving a Range Rover Evoque. Well, I've never seen a fishmonger driving a Range Rover Evoque. You mean your dad is a millionaire from his business and you're just a spoiled little brat who's got a Range Rover Evoque? Yeah, we know it well. Yeah. And I think you're right. I was the same. When he got emotional on that, I was like, oh, God, yeah. He was saying about how you commented on this last week, and you're right. How he was conscious of what was going on the outside, what people were thinking of him. It obviously did affect him, but then he just went, hold my fucking Prosecco. I'm just going to be Luca Bish from the first time I was here, who's a complete knob. And he was there was a little bit of thing with Olivia, and you're right. And the situation with Scott, I must admit, Dave, I don't know his regional bias, and I'll call myself out here. Initially, I was all for sort of Scott, and then saying, not all for Scott, but sort of saying like, well, one, Scott's doing what they all do on Love Island. So then I'm thinking, is this a producer thing and it's a storyline? Because you wouldn't verbalize that, would you? In a normal relationship, you might tell your closest friend and say, look, I'm not happy in my relationship, or
Yeah.
so whatever. But you do it on telly, don't you? Like no one's going to see. Obviously, the other contestants, or the Love Island fucking Islanders, whatever they are, they don't see this, but the audience can see it because they're telling a story. So initially, I was like, Luca's a bellend. However, Scott should have told Tina, shouldn't he? He's a 36-year-old fucking Peter Pan who absolutely doesn't
I
know.
wondered where you were going with that.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
But
let's say Peter Pan.
Yeah, let's say Peter Pan. But he isn't he? He's got 10, 11 years on Luca, right? But Scott's still saying shit like, as I said, she's sick, that bro. And he keeps calling everyone fucking bro, and it's like, I get it. You're trying to be hip, but you were relevant. Just like I said last week, he owed it to Tina to try with her. What, from 9 fucking years ago? Has your DMs not been open, or hers? Could you have not reached out before you did? It looks so obvious what he's doing. So I think the narcissistical side of Scott came out. However, I did love the fact when he said to Luca, there's no going back from this now, mate. Who are you? And all this. I think if that had been a nightclub, there'd been fists going there, Dave. I think Scott was going to chin him, or he was going to swing for him. I mean, to be fair to Luca, he didn't back down. He didn't even flinch. But Luca's just like, nah, I'm not having that. So I don't know where I stand with it because they're both bellends. But I sort of did stand towards Scott. And then I read some of the comments in the Facebook Messenger, and and Sam said the same about him. But why would you not tell Tina? He knows what he's doing. He's never going to get this perfect woman. So I think at the end of the day, I'll just take it as it was great TV. I think at the end of it, I think the regional bias of him being from Manchester sort of made me favour him.
Yeah, and I don't hold on to any of the bias. I just think they're all bellends as usual. But,
yes.
Yeah, I am right down on the middle. I am not in anyone's corner. They're all just a bunch of dicks. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it is a game. And again, I'm sort of enjoying the season, I guess. But this falseness, like you say, knowing that, I mean, they're all probably in each other's pockets anyway. It's like the alumni, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Love Island alumni. So they get invited to go to the nightclubs like David Brent or whatever, hand out the free T-shirts. And so they know each other. And like you say, with Scott and Tina, he's had the opportunity. He could have done that fucking ages ago. But they're trying to tell this story for us. And I don't know, is it like the wrestling where it's maybe, at least from a high level, decided, you know what the rules of the game are. It's not like you're going into a competitive boxing match. It's more like, okay, we know what our game plan is. Here's how we're going to play it. So I just feel like we're one step removed again from the idea that these people are here for something real.
I think, you know what, I think you've absolutely hit on it. I'm a big wrestling fan, especially, the old school wrestling, certainly. I do keep my eye in on the new stuff, but the wrestling's all predetermined. You're right. There is a bit of danger to what they put the bodies through, and that no doubt about it. People have been injured, but I think because it's predetermined, that's what I'm saying about. And I think you're right. The stuff with Scott and the way this played out was like, that's not a coincidence that he's saying all this, is he's having his doubts. And then Luca just, Luca says all this, and I'm like, and in normal life, you would literally be, well, we're done, pal, because you're obviously trying to get with my missus, or you just don't like me and you're just being a shit. And that's how I seen it. But then I must admit, you're right. At the end of it, I was like, this just seems too fucking cute for me. This seems like the producers have got them both at the front door, because we know that goes on. The fourth wall's been broken. And I think off the back of it, and I think at one point Luca was right, nobody, and I'm slightly switching, is more obviously a plan and absolutely someone who's playing. Is Ekin-Su. I said it last week. She was back in. Was it, who was she backing? Was it Kaz or someone she was backing? And then Luca went, you weren't even there. And then she was lying her ass off. She went, I'm just backing my girl. And it's like, but you're lying. So I don't know why would you be backing your girl by completely lying on a situation you weren't even there for? So it's just bizarre. And I think you're right. I think the way this has gone on this week, and I'll talk about one of the other incidents, I'm completely with you. I think they're so meta aware of what's going on. It's actually embarrassing now. These like dramas, even though it was great to watch last night, you're still thinking, yeah, but I'm not really believing any of this fucking bollocks they're trying to sell to us. I'll be honest with you. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not believing any of these storylines that they're trying to play in front of us.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'd go as far as to say Ekin-Su's a plant, but she's definitely a producer favourite, isn't she? Even in that first season, we heard from the Scottish guy who she was paired up with, the one with the whole crawling around, and it was obvious that I don't know how the producers sort of pick their favourites. Maybe it's one where they'll ask a few people to do something a bit outrageous, and then they get to figure out, okay, these are the people who will just go for it. They're that fucking desperate. They'll do what we say. So, they become the favourites kind of thing. So, yeah, Ekin-Su's definitely got the producers behind her feeding her stuff as well.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And talking about storylines, fuck a doodle do. I mean, obviously, I'll talk about Ekin-Su again, actually, is the kissing game. So every lad gave her top scores, but for some reason she was offended by Curtis kissing the other girls. And I'm like, and then she wouldn't speak. Then she said to him, "You come and get me." And I'm like, you're fucking about 38. We've already had it with Scott. Just stop making it about yourself. She's just absolute blackguard, isn't she? I think for me, I'm getting more and more annoyed. I wouldn't be annoyed if fucking Davide came in, Dave, on a horse, bare-chested and saved her. Because then, the reality radar would be back, my friend. But I'm not buying anything that she's selling, Ekin-Su. I just think everything she's doing is off. I
don't think he has to come in on a horse for the reality radar to be mentioned again, but it's just how you conjured up that image where, he's got the sunlight behind him, he's got the horse rearing up on his hind legs, he's got beads of sweat like dripping off him like he's some Greek god or something.
I'm getting excited, Dave. Stop it. I can see it, Dave. Things are bulging where they shouldn't be and all.
You're a liar.
Come with me.
Definitely. Even I would have to admit, it's got, that would be fantastic. I think I saw that he was with someone, so he won't be in. But you never know, Chris. You never know, do you? If they throw up those pound signs, then people come and run in. But yeah, the Curtis Ekin-Su thing, I think, again, I want to believe that there's something real here, but I almost feel like we're seeing Curtis and Amy from season 5.
Yeah.
Where he's decided, to settle down early. We haven't seen him making the coffees in the morning. I don't think, I haven't noticed him doing it that much. But, him and Amy got together and then they were like the mum and dad of the villa, weren't they? And it's almost like Ekin-Su and Curtis have become this mum and dad of the villa. But it's like they've said, we can't be just boring, or else, we won't get any votes and we'll be voted off. So let's, stoke something up. Yeah, let's make it about the game or something inoffensive like that. So just a little thing between the pair of them. I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of petty, but I'd be bought into the pettiness if I didn't think it was set up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. And I think that's where I had fatigue by the end of the week, because then we get the whole fucking Harriet Ronnie thing. Harriet comes in on the kissing game, doesn't she? And Dave, I'm not being funny. I mean, we know this issue with Elmer. Is Ronnie blagging her? He's just there for a good time, and he's just a cock, basically. But then Harriet comes in, and he says at one point, and I felt I was watching that episode of MAFS. You remember when that guy read his fucking wedding speech, which he'd obviously got off Google, and then he read it, and at the end he went, "I love you." Yeah, Arthur. And she fucking looked at him going, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, I love you." And I'm like, and everyone could just clearly see he just nicked that off Google. And she just was like, "Holy fuck, I've literally just met you. Now we're getting married, allegedly, or we're committing or whatever the show is. But you've just told me you love me." It was just nonsense. And that's what he said. He said to her, he loves her. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, this is so fake. And everyone online, Dave, and you know me and you, we can sniff out the bullshit most of the time. everyone online is saying these two have got together at some point and can put this whole thing together. This is like when Ekin-Su tried it when she was going in and she asked that guy to come in, didn't she? And we'll create a relationship. And and in the end, he binned him off from Casa Amor. And that's, I think, exactly what this is, because they're like laughing at each other like it's like Towie when they talk, when it's all like been rehearsed and everything. I'm not listening. There's nothing between these two at all. And like you said, we only seen these bellends about 3 months ago and they didn't like each other by the end of it anyway. So I don't get it how they think that the audience is going to buy this shit, because that is the fakest thing I've seen this week between these two. I'm not having any of it.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. I mean, 80s rom-coms have had a bigger build-up than this, haven't they? You know, when things just absolutely change and it's like, you know, we almost need that groundswell of music, don't we? It's like, oh, you know what? I actually do love her. Oh my God,
Yeah.
you know, and do is it The Graduate, which is the one where he's banging on the wedding chapel? But
hello, he's banging on what?
Maybe that was a different movie I was watching. But
I've seen that one.
It was a mad switch, wasn't it? And again, if these had been, I don't know, from Curtis's season or something, you know, season 5 or earlier or something like that, I could maybe buy it. But they literally fucking left together, didn't they? After a bit of a rocky time of it. And I mean, Ron, to be fair, he's been quite consistent. Basically, if you invite him for a chat, he's going to try and snog your face off. So, you know, he's been like that all the time. And then Harriet comes in. She kisses him. He literally knows it's her. Doesn't give her a 10. But then is like, oh, yeah, my head's scrambled. Oh, no, it's not actually scrambled. I think I love you. We had all this time on the outside, but I wanted to wait until right now, until we're on camera, because it doesn't mean anything if it's not on camera. I don't want to announce my undying love for you. So, yeah, that was... There's been a few things this week that just smell like, you know, fabrication. And so, but that one was definitely up there.
Oh, it's brilliant. Honestly, it was. It's just... I think it's one of them things, isn't it? Everyone's forcing a relationship. I mean, I was literally that meme where the guy, me and you always send it to each other, like when we've had enough. The guy jumping out the office building, the meme, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because they were talking, weren't they, in that game, the Vegas game, before like Luke and Scott kicked off, right? Now, bear in mind, Naz has been binned up by Catherine because he's doing the same thing he did when he's in the first time, where he's just like everyone's friend. He doesn't commit to anything.
He's just like, on holiday.
It's like he's not got the memo. You're in Love Island, mate. At least make some shit up. However, Naz went into full reality TV style, because then they were like, so Naz, who do you fancy the most? And who does he pick, Dave, who's single? Elma. And she's like, oh, really? Oh, right. And I'm thinking, fuck off. Here we go. These are going to recouple. Catherine's going to get booted off here unless they bring a bombshell in for her. I'm just like, mate, come on. You know what I mean? At least he's playing the game, but it was too obvious again. Another load of bollocks. He's never mentioned Elma at all. And then he was like, oh, yeah, I really fancy Elma. I was like, what? Because she's not with Ronnie now? Yeah, she's single. You need to stay in the villa? Yeah. Okay, pal. We really believe in that bollocks.
Yeah, another friend couple coming right up.
Juffy's saying the same thing. He doesn't really give me much. There's no affection there yet, because he's here to stay on holiday for a couple of weeks. But Dave, I have a caveat, actually, a little caveat. I watched on Saturday night the extra episode, and I will tell you now, between Ronnie, Casey, and fucking even Scott and Luke, they are just taking the piss, like full, like, you know, the storylines we're seeing, and we've said it loads of times, and I know you've not really caught a lot of the extra episode. It's night and day. They are taking the piss at one point, right? I was laughing my head off. They called, and this is sort of thing I would have done. They called Ekin-Su over, right? So she comes over, strutting her stuff, and all the 4 lads are there. And she sits down, and they completely ignore her and just start talking between themselves like they're about 6 or 7-year-old kids. You know, the sort of jokes you play on a mate. And you're like, you just call me over there. What the fuck do you want? And they were just completely ignoring her. Well, my fucking 10-year-old brain thought that was hilarious. I'm pissing myself. I think I've done that to people. And she was fuming. But then they were just pranking all the time. And like Casey, especially. Casey's really funny in the extra show. I think he's an absolute bellend. But for the context of like, because Ian Sterling starts the show going, yeah, we've got loads of farting. We've got all this. And it's like a completely different show until they're told, sit in these chairs, we need you to have a discussion about your relationship or whatever, where we can clearly say, oh, do you want to go and have a chat over here where the camera or the lighting's the best? This is when they're just dicking around. And honestly, Ronnie and Casey have just been taking the piss. They're always laughing, which is completely opposite of what we see on a full-time show. So I know I've said it to you, and it's a big commute to go 7 days a week, but just to catch 10, 15 minutes of it to go, we're getting played by the producers so much, because I can't believe they show this much what goes on, really. It's a completely different island. Everyone's laughing and joking. It was Fingy's birthday this week, Kaz's birthday this week. Did a big thing for it, which we never saw on the proper show properly. Like a massive thing they were all hiding from. Happy birthday. They were all singing Stevie Wonder, and it's like, we saw none of that, and it looked like they're having a really good time. So I'm canvassing for more of the real stuff to come in on a fake reality show. Is probably thingy, but there you go. I've done a little bit of a monologue, but honestly, the extra show for anyone listening, if you can catch it, it's well worth it just to see the real personalities of some of these absolute bellends.
Yeah, and I guess I've had a bit of a problem with this format since the start, really. I said to you, I went back to the original Big Brother, and the fact that you could watch, 24 hours if you wanted to through, the TV, through the internet or whatever. And, you'd watch the edited version of the show, but you could pop in at any time and see what's going on. Yeah. Whereas this one, you're very much led by the producers through the storyline that they want to tell. And it seems like they always want to make sure they're always driving the plot forward, aren't they? But it's always about the relationships and stuff. They do show a bit of the games and stuff, don't they? But only if it's a clue for some drama that's coming. It's like someone did something or cheated in a game, and then people are going to have their nose put out of joint by it or something like that. And then I guess, all the rest of it, it's almost when the Towie lot are off camera, isn't it? And they could just chill out. It's a long time, 24 hours in a day. And they'll generally, we don't always see yesterday's events or even 2 days events. Sometimes they'll have an episode spanning multiple days. So, yeah, I don't know. It would make it a lighter episode, I think, if they just had a bit less of the drama and just a few odd bits of the fun stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think, as we're talking, I think you hit the nail on the head, because I think what it is, the extra show, it's like watching the outtakes at the end of a movie. Like a piss take, like when you're showing them what's... Yeah, Smoking the Bandit, the Cannonball Run, or, like when you do, or you watch, like, say, like, we love The Office, don't we, Ricky Gervais? And then you've got, like, on the DVD, the extras where they're just absolutely in hysterics. Like, we see it all the time online, don't we? And you would always send them to each other, like Keith, the guy, when he has that one-to-one Ricky Gervais, with David Brent, and he says, what's one of your weaknesses? And he goes, eczema. And Ricky Gervais just can't get through the scene, can he? Because he's so deadpan, the actor, R.I.P. as well. But it's like it is almost like watching a compilation of like the outtakes of the show where everyone's showing the true personality. When you watch a soap and they're absolutely crying, and then years ago you'd watch that, what was it called, with Dennis Norden, Dave, the outtakes one. I remember it used to
It'll be all right on the night, was it?
All right on the night, and then you'd have him in tears. And then
I tell you what, I can hear Joe screaming at the fucking podcast player, "You old farts, update your pop culture references." Fucking it'll be all right on the night. I don't think it made the 90s.
I don't think anybody listening will know that. Maybe Joe will, Dave. She's, around our age, did you? But sorry, Joe.
My mind was like, was it catchphrase? Oh no, that was a different one.
You're all right. And Dennis Norden was about 80 then when we watched it as kids, didn't we? but you'd get like
or Clive Anderson. He used to have a good
Clive,
show.
he used to do it, yeah. But like Harry Hill won it, but Harry Hill was just taking the piss out of what was going on the shows. But wasn't it a bit like what would you call it? Like it's not Candy. Oh, you've been framed or what? I mean, fucking right, Dave. I'm going to shut up now. We are showing our age, or I'm showing my age.
No, I call myself out. I did say Smokey and the Bandit when I thought of an example as well.
Oh, Dave, I tell you what,
they do it on the Avengers and stuff, don't they? The occasion.
Yes, they do actually. But I nearly had Sam packing a bags the other day because we were sat there and we were watching a vlog for Vegas, and then this couple was there, and the guy's having like a hot dog tongue to the camera. And in the background, he's Eastbound and Down playing by Jerry Reed. Now, you know that my room around me has got various different bits of memorabilia and DVDs, Blu-ray copies of Smoking the Bandit. And I went, listen to that song. And Sam's like, yeah, I know that. I went, listen again. So we sat there. We'd had a drink Saturday night, first one, this in 2025. And I went, she went, I've got it. And I went, I've got it. It's the Cannonball Run. And I was fuming, Dave. Get your bags and get out. Well, Sam was just pissing herself laughing. I was fuming, Dave. I was absolutely good. I went, you've even bought me the special edition Blu-rays. I've got the cars. I've got everything. And you know, they've got the signed pictures. And you've gone, I mean, I love the Cannonball Run.
Multiple copies of the same fucking film.
Exactly. Well, you know that. If I see the Cannonball Run in a charity shop and it's sat there, I have to buy it because that is sacrilege to the legend of Burt Reynolds, who's one of my favourite. Smoking the Bandit is my favourite movie. I was going to
say, dude, you did it then. You said the Cannonball Run.
No, well, I have to do the Cannonball. I've got Smoking the Bandit.
The Smoking the
Bandit. Yeah, but Dave, I'm allowed to. But I've got various variations of Smoking the Bandit. I've got loads of Burt Reynolds films, Hooper, all of it. But as soon as she said that, Dave, that was it. It was not. I was not happy. But she thought it was hilarious. Like she was. And when I said pack of bags, and she's like, "It'd be your bags, pal, going first, not mine." I was like, yeah, you're probably right. With my Blu-ray copies of Smoking the Bandit,
climb down from this horse I'm on here just to free it up for Davide later.
Yeah, I've got the body of Dave though of Davide, so I don't think I'll get away with that. Anyway, that's my story for today. When Samantha listens to this, I may still be packing my bags, Dave. So you have a lovely warm spare room. I'll be coming to see you soon. He was almost visiting it pretty soon anyway, Warner, but we won't go into that, Dave.
Yeah. But just getting into, I mean, what you said before about Naz picking Elmer as that tactical play, I felt like Ron made the tactical play, didn't he, when he had his pick with Kaz? So he was like, oh, yeah, Kaz, single, you know, it's a bit of a safe pick. I feel like he was definitely thinking tactically there, but then, you know, she sort of scuppered it by not really fancying him.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long Ron's going to be in there, to be honest. He doesn't seem to be adding much.
No, he isn't, to be fair. And I think even when he spoke to Ronnie as well, he was like, he seems a bit serious, doesn't he, Ron? Like, he's only a couple of series ago. And I said to Sam, because Sam she never saw that series, and obviously we lost Dave. I can't believe you not even mentioned that. I actually wore a black armband because Olivia had left. Oh, no. I was so upset by that. I mean, how's Vin Diesel going to cope in his next fucking Fast and Furious movie? I honestly do not know. But, you know, she's gone with Marcel. Yeah, I just think that if them two are still together now, I would be amazed. Absolutely amazed.
Yeah, not a chance.
I don't miss a one bit. But I do think, like, the whole scenario with Ron coming in and Grace as well. I mean, we've only just seen Grace, haven't we?
Yeah.
She's got Marcus Rashford. She name drops him. Says she was friends with his brother, and Montel came in and he called her out.
Marcus Rashford. I'm starting to feel sorry for him now. You've got the Man United manager slating him, and fucking Grace from Love Island as well. He's like, leave it over. I'm trying to make out that I'm an actual footballer here. Leave me alone. I don't need this.
Yeah, but to be fair, Dave, if we put Grace up front for United, he'd probably score more goals for us than Rashford. So don't worry about that at the moment. He's fucking rubbish, but there you go.
That is fair. That is fair.
It is, actually. I can't even disagree. I know you're loving every single minute of this as a Liverpool fan, but there you go. But no, honestly, I just wanted to jump on and do it. We know what it's like with Love Island. It's just ridiculous. And again, we're on the third week. I think we're halfway through now. I think it finishes 2 weeks today. So it's not a long one, Dave. So you don't have to hate me so much.
Are you shitting me? It's a
No,
short season.
No, 3 weeks actually. I think it's the 17th. 3 weeks actually. 3 weeks.
See, I should always remember to fact check you because you always say, "Oh yeah, just got 1 week left." All right, fucking brilliant, great, yes, 1 week left, and then it's like, "Oh no, it's 1 week before the last week, and then the finals on the following Monday."
You need community notes, don't you? Against what I'm saying.
Well, apparently fact checking is not in vogue anymore. So, yes.
No, it's not. Do whatever you want, Dave. But no, anything else, Dave, before we go?
No, that's great. Like I said, we take the piss relentlessly, but I am enjoying the season. I'm enjoying it even more knowing that it's not going to be a fucking long haul 2-month job. But yeah, I would like to see this week, I think, something authentic, something real that I can actually believe, that isn't this manufactured drama. But let's see, I ain't going to hold my breath either.
Fucking hell, Dave. You've got more chance of getting a real storyline off Coronation Street than fucking Love Island. Jeez, or the news. The news is probably more factually correct than fucking that's terrible as it is.
Or Marcus Rashford scoring, I guess, anytime soon. Has to be on the pitch now.
Well, you never know, David. You never know, but there you go. Anyway, on that bombshell, let's just move on, Dave. But I tell you what, if Davide comes in on a horse, I am absolutely getting lottery tickets this weekend. That would be the ultimate Jilly Cooper moment. He's got all the fucking baby oil on. He comes in, sweeps her off the feet round the pool. Oh, that would be it. She's mine. And then that's it, Dave. They just go off into the sunset. That would be the ultimate flex.
Can you imagine Curtis's face as well? It'll be
probably be Sambry.
He'll have to get his King Julian hat back on.
Did you see him dancing? Oh, you didn't see him dancing on the extra show. He was doing the dancing again. The hips he's got. Hips, that lad. Oh,
snake hips.
He can dance, honestly, but he was just, when he's not dancing with anybody. He's just going, yeah, you do this, and he's fucking doing all the hips and that. And I'm like, he don't give a fuck, this lad. He's brilliant. Obviously, that's his occupation, but yeah, he's a good dancer.
Yeah, I mean, actually, you're saying about Olivia, I think it was in the first week. He was sort of throwing her around like they were doing some kind of weird.
Yeah, there was. It was
pretty impressive, to be fair.
Yeah, and there was. He picked. Was it Olivia? He picked. Oh, it's Kaz. I'm not being funny, Dave, but there was a moment with Kaz there when there was. Yeah. I don't think she had the right. All I'll say, I don't think she had the right bikini on for the move that he did. Hey ho, it's Love Island. I missed it, Dave. I didn't even see it, but that's what I believe happened.
Awesome Wenger there.
I didn't see it. It wasn't me. He's right in front of you now. I saw nothing. No. I was watching the Bake Off. I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't see it. Anyway, right. I'm definitely going now, Dave. And that spare room's looking mighty impressive at the moment. So if you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social media, @cdrealitycast. Please go over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. Come and join us over there, guys. All the links for the episodes are on there, and there's a great chat functionality. I said in the last episode, and it's so many people talking there. We've got a Love Island UK chat as well, so come in there. It's got spoilers, but everyone's like watching it up to date, so we do nothing on the front page as well, so don't worry about spoilers there. It's all within the chat. If you do support us, please get over to patreon.com/CD Reality Cast. So the roll call of honor, and a big thank you to Anna, Tilly, Marcy, Stacey, Sinead, Kathleen Sims, Andrew, Nick, Danielle, Kim, Amanda, Larissa, Helen, Nicola, Gillian, Keith, Helen, Chloe, Joanna, Libby, Susan, Lauren, Lucky Lulu Green, and Kent Gustafson. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Amazing stuff. And if anybody gets the Dennis Norden reference there from me, I will be amazed. It's all right, and it's a UK thing, but there you go. But I feel like I'm about 60, well, mid-60s, mid-70s nowadays. That is a hell of a throwback, that.
In the Venn diagram, there is this tiny little intersection of probably just me and you, people who watch Love Island and who remember Dennis Norden. It'll be all right on the night. That's going to have me chuckling until later, that is. But thank you very much, sir. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters. And we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.